Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be going over your first day of patch 8.3, kind of taking you through all the beginning quest lines. This video is going to be extremely long because frankly there's a lot of stuff to do, so bear with me on that. I cut out as much as I could, and I cut down as much as I could out of there, but it's just going to take a long time to get through all of this. So when you start off, you're going to get a quest to go to your faction's city. You'll get a cinematic for it. I cut that out just because there's tons of people online already posting cinematics. If you're interested in them, you can go watch them, or you can just wait to see it yourself when you load it. But the Alliance and Horde are going to have separate cinematics. This guide will still work for the Horde generally because it's mostly the exact same stuff, with just very slight differences, same quest hubs, that kind of thing. Just very slight differences in it. If you don't like PvP, I do suggest you turn off your war mode because that could be a little bit sketchy for you. I saw even a lot of Alliance war mode on too, so even as Horde, if you don't really like PvP, maybe turn it off. Obviously, if you're a min-max person, you're going to have it on so you get every last bonus, everything. So after your cinematic and everything, you'll be able to talk to Magni again. This is one difference that could be between Alliance and Horde. For Alliance, you go into this room and you retrieve one of Magni's hammers for him so he can start fighting again, kind of turning him back into the old Magni. At least I hope. That would be nice. Maybe for the Horde, I don't know if they have his other hammer and he gets that back from the Horde or not, but that's what you do here. We'll just grab his hammer back. And my personal thing and why I left a little bit of this in is because I hope that he somehow gets to turn back into a dwarf and not the Speaker of Azeroth, maybe when this is all done, for example, or maybe after the next X-Pack or during the next X-Pack or something. Alright, so now I'm just going to the portal room to head back to Borealis. If your Hearthstone's up, obviously take that. Otherwise, for Horde, obviously you go to your portal room in Orgrimmar, same thing. So whenever you see me in the portal room for Alliance, you can go to portal room for Orgrimmar, or you can use your Hearthstone, whatever. So we're going to the Chamber of Heart. From Borealis, I went to the portal to Silithus into the Chamber of Heart. That's going to be, if you see me randomly in the Chamber of Heart from another scene, that's generally what you're going to do there. I don't really ever fly back there. So for the first thing we're going to do in the Chamber of Heart, there's going to be 4 little councils around the main thing, and we're just going to go around and click all of them. There's only dialogue for 2 of them for me, the first one and the last one. I don't know if that's intended or if there's dialogue for all of them. By no means do you have to take part in the dialogue or anything like that. You can just go through and hit all 4 of them, and then we'll complete the quest and move on to the next part. Earlier on, before I knew how long this was, I was reading the quest text a little bit more, and as I got on, I'm like, I just got to get this done. I just sat and did it without any breaks or anything. Alright, so now we're going to leave the Heart Chamber, and I believe we're going to head to Oldham next. So to get to Oldham, from here, we're in Silithus already, so as long as you have flying, you can just fly over to Silithus, or to Oldham. I don't know why you wouldn't have flying necessarily. So we're going to fly over to Oldham. And generally, this is how I'm going to get to Oldham, as long as I'm coming from Silithus. I'm not going to port back, and then port to Home City, Stormwind, Orgrimmar, and then port to Oldham from there. That seems a little bit ridiculous. Mostly, I just hate loading screens. I don't know which one's actually faster, so I just chose to fly there personally. Also, I want to say, as far as Oldham goes, I'm not going to be showing you the assault. Okay, so why not? Because I believe the assaults change over time. So yes, if you do this within the first few days of the patch, this will be the same assault that I had as well. But if you don't, it could be a different assault, and it might just confuse you. So I'm going to just kind of give you some tips on the assaults and stuff like that. So here you see me looting a box. Those are, if you see them, you can get those. You don't have to. They have coalescing visions in them. They might be able to have these relics in them. These relics are useful to open up bigger chests that have better rewards in them. Relics can also drop off of rare spawns. They can drop off of like major elite targets. I think they can even drop off of regular targets. Just anything in the zone. It's not actually an assault zone yet. You'll see that on the map when I open it later on. For this part, we're going to the Halls of Origination. So we're going into this pyramid, again marked on your map. I just assume everyone can go to their map and look at the mark on the map. If there's anything hard to find, I do mention that. It's only really one issue of that later on, where it's a little bit hard to find just based on the map. We're going to go into the Halls of Origination, and we're going to have Magni with us. So this stuff does hit a little bit harder and has a little bit more health than normal stuff because it is new content. So, you know, in our gears from the last tier. However, Magni can kill everything technically if your gear's really bad or you're a healer or whatever. You know, just stay alive. Magni will kill everything. At one point, I pulled a bunch of stuff and just kept running, and Magni was just killing it behind me as I was running. So you could even try that method, especially if you're a healer, of just pulling everything and let Magni kill it. As long as you can keep yourself alive, of course. I don't recommend, you know, getting yourself killed by any means. So we're just going to clear through the Halls of Origination. We'll speed it up right here. Just to make this go a little bit faster. So my method here is, if I'm flying somewhere or loading screens, I typically try to cut those out. When I'm actually in somewhere doing something, I like to just speed it up to show the process. That doesn't mean I'll never cut anything out, but typically just so no one gets lost or anything like that. Maybe you've never even run Halls of Origination. I might make a cut or two in here though, but in general I try not to. Okay, so there's booby traps to go across this bridge. So what we need to do is we need to go downstairs and just disable these things. So there's 4 little consoles on 2 pillars. So 2 consoles per pillar, basically. And 1 on each side, 1 on the right side, 1 on the left side. So I'll show you one of them, and you'll have to do the other 3. So you can see the console straight ahead of me on that pillar, interactable thing. So we'll click on that. And then there's 1 on the other side of this pillar, and there's 2 on the pillar on the opposite side of the room. So over here. Okay, so after all 4 are deactivated, we'll just head right back up the stairs. There might be stairs on the other side, I'm not sure. I just went up the same stairs I came down. And we're going to head across the bridge now successfully. Speed it up a little bit. And just a little small wave. No boss type mob yet. Sometimes in a pack, one of them's like a leader and has a little bit more health like this guy does. But he's not a boss by any means. There are some bosses. Typically the mechanics are very easy to avoid, and I'll go over that as well. Go ahead and pull this room. We're at a little bit of a speed up here. It still takes a while. Kind of annoying how much health these things have, honestly. Even though Magni does do good damage to him. So you see a big guy in the next room. He's like the first type of boss guy we'll fight. He has almost no health though. He's already injured. I don't know if he's getting powered up or what, but because he's already injured, it's pretty easy. So basically for him, he has this swirly on the ground, just walk out of that. And then he has an AoE cone attack in front of him. I imagine this stuff probably only really matters if you're just like a fresh 120, maybe you just came back to the game, something like that. But avoid the cone, avoid the swirlies, although it might not even matter, honestly. I didn't get hit by it, but I doubt it does too much damage. After that, you're going to have some more dialogue with Magni. He's going to try to power up the elevator. He's going to notice that it, in fact, does not have the required power, and we're going to go try to power it up. Follow Magni where he goes to the through a door that he opens, and we're going to go into this power room. And there'll actually be something in here I have to show you because I screwed up on it, so I'll actually go through how to do this. So in the back there, you can see 2 orbs with power coming out of them, or a light beam coming out of them. We need to get those 2 light beams to these first 2 on the left here. So you'll see on your map, if you go to your map, that you have to, that's the switch we need to click is right here, this power conduit thing up here, this console. So we need to get power to those orbs. So we're just going to redirect the power. It's fairly self-explanatory, but I did screw it up, so I will go over it. And if you screw it up, it's not nothing you can't fix really quick. So right there, he'll be like, oh, we need to get the power. So here I am on this other side. And basically, I had them all screwed up. So you're going to have 1 from each pillar. You want the first one to go to the other side, and then the other one just to start going down the left side. So on the screen right now, right and left. So you're going to, every time you hit it, it's just going to change direction by 90 degrees, basically. So like if this one's in the correct slot now, if I were to click it, it would change 90 degrees. Click it again, change 90 degrees. Click it again, change 90 degrees. Click it one more time, and it'd be back where it was at, 360 degrees circle, right? So for this one, pretty simple. Go click it here. And is it 90 degrees? I'm not even sure. Yeah, it is 90 degrees. It looks like it goes clockwise based on this as well too. So there's nowhere for this one to go other than directly across. So it does. So that one technically goes 180 degrees. So that's just because it doesn't have anywhere to go. We now have it powered up, and this guy's angry and comes out. And this is another little mini boss here. I actually did get hit by a lot of his stuff. He has a lot of interruptible things. He has a heal that he casts. It almost heals him. It only heals him for like 1 or 2%. I wouldn't even worry about it. And then he turns into like an old god type thing. And then you can just kill that as well without too much issue, at least for me. I did take some damage though. So then Enzoth takes control of your screen right here. It's kind of neat. I actually had someone in the guild not like that very much. You have no control over anything. Enzoth just has control of your screen right there. And now we're going to head to back to the elevator. And now we can, now with power, we can go up to floor 3 where the engine is at. So this is floor 2, completely blocked off. Security protocols. And at floor 3, we have the engine device. We also have a console. We have some power conduit things. We have to click on these power things. Very simple. Click those on. Now Mother's like, okay. Something else is interfering with it. There's the constant theme of this is there's constantly something interfering with it. So now we're going to use our Heart of Azeroth to power it up. And there you go. Using our necklace. Power everything up. Or establish a link, whatever, to the thing. And I believe this is the part where we find out that it's not operating at high efficiency. So now we need to get more power for the device, basically. Just because it's operational now, but it's not operating well enough. So we'll grab the next quest from Magni. And now to get out of here, of course you could hearth or do whatever you want. If that's what you choose. I'm just going to walk into this teleporter pad here, and it's going to put me right towards the front. I believe next we're going to go talk to the Ramakhan. Those are the people you did the quests from during Cataclysm if you played in Cataclysm. So you go to the point marked on the map. If you did hearth out, you're just going to go back to Oldham and you'll be right there through a portal to Oldham. You'll talk to them for a while. They're going to start showing you everything they know about what's going on, everything they know about the enemy, everything they know about the old gods, everything like that. You'll do the dialogue box with the king. He'll start his little spiel here. His advisor guy says he doesn't want to work with the sand thieves because everyone's teaming up to form the Accord. And then you'll be able to grab another quest from him. And you'll be able to get a new essence from that, which is nice. It's a good one for me, at least. And then you'll start a dialogue with the guy who protested. And then you will be able to pick up all these dailies. So this is important. This is for the assault. And you'll pick up all these dailies. And for this one, at least in Oldham, they're all right here. You don't have to pick them up like in the middle of nowhere. And you can just grab it. It's a nice little quest hub. Grab all the dailies. And then you can head over to the assault, which will be marked on the map now. I'll probably go to the map here, I imagine, right there. So you see all the pink and everything. So everything inside that old god looking stuff is what you're going for. Again, I'm not going to show you everything because it could confuse you if you have one on the western side or something. I imagine the quest will be different, right? So for this one, we're destroying statues. We're destroying 2 different kinds of statues, I think. We're killing stuff. You have to kill a bunch of stuff just to get to 100% on a bar. You have to kill a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of stuff. If you see anything interactable, like swords, like a special icon, it's kind of like a chest is a special icon on your mini map. Do all those. Those will all give you progress towards it. They can give you stuff. You want to collect relics if you can. You can get coalescing visions from the boxes, which help you later on for horrific visions. All kinds of stuff you can just do and farm in the assaults. They're very helpful. You can just chill and do assaults and kill rare spawns and whatever. Assaults are very helpful in general. So you can just sit and do these, do all the quests. For this one in particular, if you're having trouble with the Sun Priests or whatever you need to find, I think they're called the Sun Priests. I was able to find them down in the south, quite a bit of them. If you click where they are on the map, one of the options is at the very south point. And I was able to find a lot of them there, personally. That was the only quest that gave me any trouble here. I don't suppose anybody's going to have trouble with these. Hopefully not. Everything's pretty straightforward. Destroy obelisks, grab statues, kill stuff. That's pretty much it. So once you are done with your first assault thing, regardless of where it is, we'll come back and turn it in. And it might always be the same one for the first one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. If it has to align where it is in the world, or if it just is always the same for the first one. You'll see you're getting these coalescing visions for these quests as well. Again, these are important. These are for your horrific visions later on, and other things as well. So when those are all done, you can turn in. I'm getting there's some Horde doing some shenanigans in here at the time. Again, if you don't like PvP, turn it off. They're doing some shenanigans, causing some trouble in here, which is fine. And you'll want to pick up all the quests you can. You'll get a corrupted piece of gear. That'll give you a quest to go talk to like Mother, or talk to Raytheon who talks to Mother, and to uncorrupt your gear, which is, you don't have to play with corruption if you don't want to. You can uncorrupt your gear, or if you just want a piece of gear but you don't like the corruption on it, you can do that. Choose the Bubble Hearth here. Again, it's kind of like a Horde just mildly attacking me. We're going to go back to the Chamber of Heart. So since I hurt the Borealis, I would have took the portal to Silithus. You could fly back to Silithus as well if you chose to do that. I'm going to activate my new essence right here. Remember, you got a new essence for doing that quest. If it's useful for you, like it is for me, then you might want to just activate it now, like I did. At this point, they're doing a dialogue. It's kind of annoying, really. A lot of dialogue. I don't mind the dialogue. I read the dialogue. I like dialogue. It's just, there's a lot of it, and this quest line is way too long, in my opinion. So that's my only issue with it. So you can see Magni is ready for me now. But I can talk to Raytheon first. And now I can go talk to Mother. This is for the whole corrupted thing. Okay, so now I finish that with Mother. And now when you talk to Mother, there'll be a dialogue option, and one of the, sometimes there'll be more than one depending on what you're doing, but there'll be a dialogue option to uncorrupt a piece of gear. So you click that, and then you have the piece of gear you want to uncorrupt, and you uncorrupt your piece of gear. It takes the good effect off of it and the corruption off of it. That way, if you have a piece of gear you don't want to use corruption, you can take that off. Next, we're going to be heading to Pandaria. So back to your portal rooms. This is the best way I know to get there. Back to your portal rooms, Horde and Alliance, and take the portal. For Alliance, at least, it's to Jadefire. I imagine it's the same for Horde, but that's where we're going to go. Maybe it's not for Horde. I actually have no idea. But it takes a while to load. I had all my old add-ons still activated at the time, so some of the stuff was taking a little bit long to load. Okay, so we're going to fly all the way up to Kunlai Summit. Kunlai Summit's the most northern country or whatever, the zone in Pandaria, and we're going to the north part of it. On the map, it's clearly marked, and we're going to meet Magni up here at these, this might be the Mogushan Vaults. It's like a dungeon or a raid, I can't remember. I didn't play Pandaria that much. As much as I play World of Warcraft, I did not really enjoy Pandaria, so I really enjoyed the Oldham stuff, and then I didn't enjoy this stuff as much. So we're going to have a little bit of dialogue again between Magni and this guy. He's like the last remaining of these people trying to protect this thing, and we're going to get a sigil from him, and we have to take that sigil. First, we get a little mantid attack in the back, but we're going to take that sigil to Lore Master Cho. If you remember, he was like the main guy in Pandaria, kind of like the Khadgar of the expansion, and he's also a card in Hearthstone, which maybe you know him from that if you didn't play in Pandaria. So we'll kill these Mantid. These guys had quite a bit of health actually, but not like they did a lot of damage. And we will complete the dialogue between Magni and the Mogu guy, and now we're at Lore Master Cho. So on the map, it's important to know here, especially if you didn't do it before, we're going to the upper area. So there's an upper one, there's a lower one. The lower one's a dungeon or an instant zone. We're going to the upper side. That's where Lore Master is, Cho. And then so you're gonna do a thing. The next part we have to read a bunch of books. Again, I did not enjoy any of this. I don't know. I'm biased against Pandaria, but I had to read all these. You had to go through read all these books. After you're done reading all the books, you can leave the room. And what we're going to be doing now is trying to find reconnaissance on the people that we're trying to help. So as you can see on the map there, pretty much everything on the western end. So we're killing the Mogu Shun. I honestly don't know the lore that much of Pandaria. I don't know the difference between the Mogu and the Mogu Shun that much. But the guys that look like Mogu, we're going to kill those guys. And there's a group of like 7, 8, 6 something. Me and another Alliance guy. AoE them down. I killed 2 before this and it did not drop. I killed these, however many this is, looks like 6 to 8, and 2 dropped off of this pole. So it's not a high drop rate. It's not 100% drop rate, but it is fairly high drop rate. Once we get the reconnaissance report, whatever it is, we're going to fly all the way back. A lot of flying in this too. Maybe that's also why I didn't like it. Fly all the way back to Loremaster, turn it in, and now we'll be able to get the quest from Magni to go find the actual people we'll be working with. So this Accord, we formed the Accord in Oldham, and it's kind of in the bottom left of the map once again. So we'll fly all the way down there. As we're getting close here, as I go over this hill, I want you to look at these statues, because I don't go into this later. There's these 4 statues right there, if you pause it. Once you get started with this, you can interact with those statues and gain a different buff per statue that you touch. And that's kind of cool. They're actually extremely strong and extremely helpful buffs. I chose the AoE one personally. Shoots like a cone of AoE in front of you. A lot of people chose the little bird that helps you. I saw a lot of those running around. We're going to go inside. We're going to talk to Raiden. If you played Pandaria, again, you know who this is. If you didn't, maybe you don't. He seems to be extremely depressed. Not that that's funny. Depression's no laughing matter, but Raiden is extremely depressed. We're going to grab more quests. And then we're going to be doing an assault in Pandaria, basically, right? So, again, there's chests to open here. This is the area that you need for the actual quest from them is right outside of where they are. But then you can see the assault zone. Again, it's basically the entire eastern side. I will say, if you have this exact assault, the only part that was a little bit hard to find were these void tears, right? So these also, the daily quests here are just strewn across the map. So when you open your map, you'll see a blue exclamation point on the map. Go pick those up. For this particular one, Lore Master Cho had one. A giant bird god thing had one, and then just like a random person had one. And so pick up all those dailies. The only one that I had trouble with that I'll give you hints about is there's void tears. If you have to close these void tears and you're having trouble finding them, I know for a fact if you click on the void tear quest to show where the zone is, where you can find the void tears, there's one spawn at the very northernmost tip of where it can spawn, like in the quest area, and there's one in the southeast as well. So very north and the very southeast. This is another part I'm going to show you. When you have the Eye of Enzoth world quest marker on your map to kill something, it's like a boss type thing, you're going to have to go inside here. So you go to where it is on the map, you'll be able to go inside this building, again, if you have this one, and you have to go all the way across. What you would notice is if you were at Lore Master Cho, it would tell you that the eye is right there under Lore Master Cho. And that's because you have to go in here in the center and we'll run all the way across. It's, again, a lot of running, a lot of flying in Pandaria. Not a fan of it. But you'll run all the way to the end of this room until you get to the actual boss, till you get to the world boss thing. Not the world boss, but the world quest eye. It'll also move on your map when you get closer over towards under Lore Master Cho. And then this is the final part I'll show you. This is just the quest that you do for the people. So that's like not part of the assault. And this is just right outside. There's a high respawn rate, at least in my experience. And you're just literally clicking on these spirits right here. Pretty self-explanatory, but since this is important and you need to do this quest, I did show it. When you're done, you'll be able to go back to Lore Master Cho and get your catch thing like you did from the Ramakan as well. And then you'll also get your first thing that can start our horrific vision. So horrific visions are the thing that we use for our cloaks, upgrading our cloaks. getting mementos and all that kind of stuff. And we get our first one right here to be able to do one, although you have to buy your first one anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So now we're going right beneath where we were under Lore Master into this instant zone. So it's directly under it. This is a dungeon from Pandaria, sorry. And we're with Magni once again, like the Halls of Origination. This is very more time wasting than anything, but so I will speed this up. You have to kill all 4 statues. I was hoping you could just run ahead, but killing the statues is how you open the door. So you do have to kill all 4 statues. This is an example. From here on out, there's not a lot of cutting in my editing. It's a lot of this kind of stuff. So I just try to speed it up. At some points, I sped it up a lot just because it's a lot of just running around. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. Some people are bothered by the cutting. Some people are bothered by the speeding up. Personally, I'm bothered by a 4-hour-long video. So that's why I make the choices I make to do things. I understand. There's traps everywhere in here. So if you stand on the square, stuff will fall down at you. When you go through doorways, spikes come and impale you. Bit of a mess. I have to kill 4 more statues in this room. The way I determine, like, again, cutting versus speeding up is I cut things that I don't deem necessary. So flying, loading screens, putting in assaults that you might not even have, and then how to get places I leave in. So I slow it down here because here we have a puzzle. So you're going to walk in here. I don't even know if you can, if stepping on, like the blue ones just knock you back like that. I don't know what the fire and lightning do. I don't know if you can just run through. I don't know if I could have just bubbled and ran through. But I decided to do the puzzle the correct way. It appears that when you step on a color, the nearby colors, similar colors, activate. And then you have to step on, each one has like an opposite, I believe. And when you step on the opposite one, it like turns off that color. Whatever would be its opposite. So it looks like red turns off yellow. I believe blue turns off red, which means I guess yellow turns off blue. I don't know if that's exactly how it works. But if you just, I mean, you can play around with it without knowing any of that and eventually get it. Basically, you're just taking the most long, convoluted way possible. So, unfortunately, again, I don't know if I could have just bubbled and ran through there. I actually love these puzzles, especially so earlier in the Halls of Origination, you had to go there anyways for your hive mind mount, and and there's a giant puzzle in there that was really fun to solve. I actually solved it on my own. A lot of people just use a guide to solve it. I was doing it in live time while everyone else is doing it. It's part of the reason, but I think somebody solved it. I mean, people solved it before me, but I just wanted to solve it on my own anyways. I just like puzzles. That's just the end of it. So we're going to click on the switch. So here I'll be able to speed it up again, but you can actually just jump over that barrier there. Again, which made me think I could probably just bubble and click the lever. And then we're going to go down and into the catacombs here with Magni. Again, I have this sped up to a pretty high rate. Probably could have even made it faster, honestly. It's a lot of running. Spikes everywhere. Spikes. This is where I just pulled a bunch of stuff, and then Magni helped kill it. I could have just kept running, I think. So here we have like a pseudo puzzle, I guess. Is you just all you have to do here is just push the statue into place, not rocket science. So you're just gonna push the statue. It just has to touch it, and weights it down, opens the door. This part's a little glitchy. It turns all dark. Turns all dark again. Kind of like whatever. I didn't think that was necessary. This next room's a pain in the ass. You just have to kill a bunch of stuff in here. Click on anything you can. So you see eyes on the walls. You can click on those. You can click on the big purple masses. You can click on tentacles, and you're just getting your bar up to 100%, basically. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to do this room. There's one thing I wish I cut. It would have been this entire room. Just said, hey, kill everything in this room. Instead of dealing with this. But so there's the purple mass. I didn't even know those eyeballs were interactable. I click on the eyeballs upstairs. Could be worse, but it just seemed a little bit unnecessary to keep having to do these things. They wanted to make it not easy, I understand, but come on. So now Enzoth kind of takes control of you again, similar to how he did in Halls of Origination. Now we're going to go down and more into the vaults here. Avoided some spike traps, finally. Magni killed a lot of those by himself. More stuff to kill. Just keep following the map where it tells you to go. Nothing too crazy here. Finally almost to the end of this part. So there's going to be a big tentacle that comes out. I just killed the tentacle. For this guy could kill you. I just bubbled. If you want to be safe, you just run out when he's doing this ability. Or if you're ranged, you don't have to worry about it. You can just kind of sidestep him. If you're melee, just run out there if you're worried about dying. For the eyeball, this thing does damage too. He says to focus on the eye, so I did. Just step out of the swirly. Kill the eye. Now we have this little cinematic thing coming out. We have greenery. Magni's doing his magic. Kind of looks cool when it's in fast motion of him twiddling his fingers like that. Activating everything, increasing power to the Halls of Origination. And we find out that there's something wrong back at the Halls of Origination again. So, of course, we have to go try to fix that. Again, I'm going to take this teleporter pad to the front of the instance and leave that way. Teleporter pads are your friend. Unnecessary loading screen here. Yeah, I definitely do not do this without updating your add-ons would be my takeaway. Or else you get loading screens like that. Okay, so once we're outside, we're going to fly all the other side back to Raiden. So this is where we were forming the Horde and everything like that. You'll be able to get a different essence for a different spec, I believe, at this point. Now Raiden's going to teleport us back to the heart, the Chamber of Heart. So we actually don't have to Hearth or go to Silithus for once. We just get to get teleported. He says it's going to be disorienting. And now Raiden joins us here in the Chamber of Heart. Him and Magni are going to walk up ever so slowly. I have it sped up, but still rather slow. They do a dialogue. You can turn in with Magni, accept the next quest, click the dialogue box. I take this time while they're doing the dialogue to activate my essences. Or activate my new essence. Alright, another dialogue box. Nope, never mind. That was just Smother. That was a Smother's box to uncorrupt gear, sorry. They weren't done with the dialogue yet. You have to just wait patiently until you can talk to Magni. Come over here. We're going to click on these things, and these, there's not corners of a circle room, but on the, the axis of the circle room, the north, south, east, west type thing. I guess north, east, and west would be the ones I clicked, technically. I don't even know if that's right. But three of them. Three things you click on. Complete the quest. Accept the next part. The good news is we are much over halfway done. So that is good news. So now we have to go get into more shenanigans and go back into Uldum. So we're going to fly there. This could be Alliance only, I'm not sure, but I had a quest I could pick up there from the Ramacon area, and I think it's just to make the reputation equal up. I it was not necessary to do these to continue the other stuff, so I do not. You can see the quest giver with me here. I picked up from Ramakan. I'm not adding this to the video just because it was not needed for me to continue anyways. I came back and finished this later on. So I guess I didn't finish everything. I finished a few things and came back and did it. So if you do get stuck, come back and do that. And maybe that would help. And by stuck I mean couldn't progress anymore. So we go back to Halls of Origination on the map with Magni. We can't get through. Magni teleports. Mother teleports us to Magni inside the halls more. We're going to go up here. And pretty soon we're going to see our first horrific vision. And horrific visions are, or our first minor horrific vision or whatever it's called. It's not the main one that you get the stuff for your cloak from, but it kind of gives you an idea of what they are. So as you get closer to this thing, you're scared of it. You can't walk towards it. When you click on it, so you see on my bars, I have these custom bars from Bartender. My sanity bar is underneath the third bar up, and I can't see it from where it is. So I eventually had to move these to make up for that. I didn't even know I had a sanity bar in here. This doesn't matter for this, but you want to make sure your sanity bar is visible. I'm hoping eventually you'll be able to just move your sanity bar with an add-on. When you're about to go insane, Raytheon just ports you out, or Mother ports you out via Raytheon order, and you'll be back to the Chamber of Heart. Now you can talk to Raytheon, and now we're going to get our cloak. So these cloaks are needed just so we can somewhat endure these horrific visions that we're seeing, so we don't lose our sanity as fast. So for this, we're going to actually need to go to Blackwing Descent. Blackwing Descent is the raid from Cataclysm. It's not down in Blackrock Mountain. If you're looking at the entrance to get into Blackrock Mountain, if you're from the south side, it's up and to the right. If you're from the north side, it's up and to the left. If that's where you were at trying to get into Blackrock Mountain, you couldn't find it. Blackwing Descent is the one up in the mountain. You have to go up to get into it on the outside. And this is the raid. If the raid jogs your memory, this is one of the most annoying parts in here. I just have this sped up. I debated cutting out almost all of this. Instead, I just sped it up to a ridiculous amount. If this is giving you a brain aneurysm or something, I apologize. But I didn't know what else to do. This was so annoying. So first, we're going to go to the lab area. This is where you get the achievement of that silly, I don't even know what it's called anymore, silly achievement when you kill the boss here on the actual raid. Not achievement, but a silly title. Killer of useless things or something like that. Then we're going to go to the left one. So we go to the right side, all the way to the left side, kill more stuff, kill the channelers here, and then kill the boss. None of these bosses were extremely remarkable or difficult in any way. I ran out of the swirly there. Okay, so now, you guessed it, we're going to go to the northern area. So we did right, left, now we're going to go top. So there's Raytheon, he's going to try to get it down. There's a void portal, and we're going to kill everything that comes out of the void portal. Okay, so now we go with Raytheon in here. Raytheon is going to get captured very weakly, like he is. And then we'll have to fight a couple dragons. You can fight one at a time, actually. I didn't even know that. I kind of just tried to pull the other one, too. But after you kill a channeler, a dragon comes out. But they're weak enough that you could fight both of them if you had to. It's not a huge deal. So now we go back out to the main room, where we'll see some more channelers that we need to kill, and Raytheon's being held captive. This is super annoying. So you kill two on one side, and then you have to go all the way to the other side to kill two more. A lot of pointless running. I don't like that. Four total channelers dead. Little cutscene here of Raytheon turning into a dragon, breaking out, using his fire. It has no effect. She teleports away. Raytheon is going to be like, all right, I know what we got to do, because they're trying to use the Black Dragon fight again. Raytheon's trying to get redemption for his father is a big part of his story arc here. So here we see the remains of Nyxia and Nefarian, sorry. You click on those, you're going to get the scales. And these scales are what we're going to use to create our cloak. So this failed experiment will calm down. Somehow this flies you from here all the way to Silithus without getting fatigued. No idea how, but good job for this dragon. None of my dragons can do that. So now we talk to Raytheon. We have our first rank of cloak. Oh, maybe not yet. Oh, wait, there's one more thing we have to... Oh, yeah, I think we should have our first rank of cloak on now, yeah. So we have our first rank of cloak. So now we can go back to this horrific vision again. So Halls of Origination, once again. As we get close to this thing, once again, we are scared. Click on it. Now we are not dying from sanity. We still have a sanity bar. It's still... I still have not noticed it yet. I thought maybe everything... I knew there was a sanity bar. I just thought, well, maybe it's... You don't get the sanity when you're learning still, and you don't have to deal with that until later. You have to click on that little barrier to go into the next area. And my advice here is, obviously, if you can see your sanity bar, it's not as big of a deal, but just avoid as much crap as you can. Don't click on these orbs. All it does is drain your sanity. And then there'll be a big tentacle at the end. This is like the final boss. Don't stand in the frontal cone. And I just eventually just ran in circles, killed it. Elevator comes down. We now need to go back to the 3rd floor once more, as we were before. 2nd floor now is corrupted, not safely safeguarded. And there's a little mini boss up here. Not as hard as the one we just killed by any means. Kill that. We see that the thing is corrupted completely. Mother is going to activate that teleportation device. So the one that we took earlier, instead of taking it, is going to take us back to the front. And now we have to clear some more crap out. Again, some of this stuff just seemed unnecessary. That's my only qualm with it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the assaults. I enjoyed the quest line overall. But I just felt like a lot of this was unneeded. I had a friend log on at this point, so I was typing to him. Okay, so here we see another boss guy at the end of the hallway. There we go, and now we can fight him. Again, nothing spectacular about him by any means. He's not even elite. Don't stand in swirlies. That stuff does hurt. Again, you can walk out of it for a while if you want. I'm a paladin, I have bubble, I have all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of gear. We'll warn you that stuff can kill you. So now we have to go to another horrific vision. So this one's in Pandaria, in the bottom left, at least the one that's active for me. Bottom left of Pandaria, you'll click on it. This will be the one time you can go into it for the day. Cool loading screen. If you have an option to grab a daily quest outside of it, do grab the daily quest. I did not see it there. Some people were saying you could get it beforehand. For me, it wasn't there until I left. But for what it's worth, if it's there, grab it. Other than that, again, you need to see your sanity bar for this. You want to just farm this as much as you can. There's rare spawns. There's stuff that drops orbs. So there's I know there's like a main boss in that courtyard right here to the right. And that dropped an orb for me that gave me 50 sanity. So you can just keep killing stuff, getting orbs to increase your sanity. You want to stay in here as long as possible and collect as many coalescing visions as possible. There's other stuff you can get as well. But But the whole idea is you're just trying to stay in here as long as possible, and kill as much stuff as possible, loot as much stuff as possible. Not just stay in as long as possible. You want to do stuff as well. So as my sanity, I know I don't see my sanity bar still at this point, but I know my sanity is low because look at my screen. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I just got to get out of here. I used my sanity orb, but it didn't do anything. Again, I didn't see my bar, so I couldn't even tell how low it was. You can kind of see it behind my bars. But yeah, my sanity's getting low, so I'm going to try to get the heck out of here. And I just go back. I knew you could fail the actual horrific visions by losing your sanity, so I didn't want to quote-unquote fail. I don't think you can fail that, but I just left the way I came in. Once you do that, you can go back to Raytheon, complete the quest, and start the next part. We'll talk to Mother. And I believe that's activating like our talent system for it. So with mementos, you can get talent points and make your visions easier, the horrific visions. So I found my sanity bar at this point. I'm going to adjust where my stuff is very crudely, just real quick, just so I can see my sanity bar. I'm going to activate this thing, complete the quest, accept the next quest. Now you're just going to get a bunch of quests from Raytheon, basically, over and over again. We're done. Everything's unlocked now. We're setting up our first horrific vision, and that's all I'm going to show you. So you have to buy one from him, one of these vessels. So you got one earlier from Oldham, remember, but you have to buy one. You should have just been doing the quest. You have enough to buy one. So you're going to buy one, and then it took me a while to realize that. I'm like, why can't I use the one I already have? So once you buy one, you can then click on the portal and queue for it. You queue for it, and then you accept, even though I'm solo. You still queue for it. And then I'll show you a little bit of the first one here, but I'm not going to get into, I'm going to do a guide on how to do horrific visions, your first horrific visions, but I'm just going to show you the first one because the first one's just important. You just want to get the quest done and then get your talent points in and all that kind of stuff. So you're in like the staging room right here. You talk to Raytheon to start it. You can also talk to him to see the map, so you can see the final boss is right in front of you. You can run straight to the final boss and kill him. There's also side rooms where you take more sanity or you lose more sanity and are a little bit harder. So your first one, you don't really want to go in there. If you're with experienced people or experienced group, whatever, you can do that. But you want to kill as little as possible. So I try to just go down the middle and not pull anything. Unfortunately, you pull everything when you do that. You can now see my sanity bar clearly underneath my action bars. So I kill all that stuff. There's 2 guards in front here. These guys do a little bit. The basically major attacks and special things. So there's not anything really special in this first room. But later on, there's special things like an image of you will follow you, and if it touches you, you lose sanity. And major attacks can force you to lose sanity. So we're just going to fight the last boss, and we're just going to kill him. So he does a frontal attack that stuns you. You want to not stand in that. And he's going to do that attack where either the middle or the outside will be shadow, and it'll fluctuate one then the other. So middle clear, back clear, and you want to run to the one that's clear. Finish him off. After he's finished, you'll just teleport out. There's nothing to loot there. Don't worry about that. And now you're back in the staging room, and you have to loot this box. Always loot the box first. Get your stuff. You'll get everything you need out of the box. You'll get your mementos. You get more mementos based on how long you do that. This isn't a guide for perfect visions. That will be up right after this video goes up, though. So this is the final part that I'm going to show. So you'll have completed that. Now Enzoth's going to whisper, and there's a big battle that's going to take place in here, basically. So you're going to have to click on things, kill things, fill the bar to 100%, and there's going to be a big battle. And at the end, Raiden is going to sacrifice himself to save everybody else and allow you to continue using the heart chamber, because Enzoth's trying to take over the heart chamber, is the crux of what's going on here. But that is basically going to be the end of it for here. I will plan on having individual assault videos up since I didn't show the assaults. Those are not my priority right now, though. The next video that'll be up after this one goes up will be your first day of horrific visions. It'll be called something like that guide. Just showing you what to do to get your rank 4 cloak on the first day without much effort. Like, doing the minimum stuff, you can get rank 4 your very first day. And I'll show you how to do that, and go over that. Other than that, I will have I'll be putting up other videos regarding first day stuff and just regarding everything to go along with this X pack. But bear with me, this was a lot of playing time and a lot of video to edit. I'm sorry this one was so long. I'm sorry the speed ups were awkward. I'm sorry some of the cuts were probably awkward to some people. But yeah, hopefully it helped you out, because that is the actual goal for this. And please subscribe to the channel, especially if you stuck with me this long, all the way to the end. Please subscribe, that helps me out a lot. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.